right, so Jimmy, you want to make introductions this morning? Welcome to Media Moguls. Welcome to Media Moguls.
Yeah, we're excited about this one. We've got Sean. I'm not actually sure how to say your last name. Is it Ballent?
Ballent.
Sean Ballent from Cryptowriter, actually the co-founder and CTO of Cryptowriter.
COO.
Right. Yeah, Cryptowriter. So yeah, we're super excited to talk to you because it's almost perfect timing. With all of the crazy moon shots that have been happening all around the space, and we were just chatting before the show a little bit about EOS and price movements, and of course that's kind of where you got your start. So super excited to hear about that. But first, I think we have an intro to play.
We do. Hold on. And it's the cheesy old one that's probably out of the... Fuck it.
I'm not the bubble. 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 I'm not the bubble.
Anyway, so that just happened.
That was epic, guys. Anyways, I'm a big fan of the show. I didn't know about it until recently, but I love the laid back vibe you've got going. I enjoyed watching Cheney last week. He's like the CEO of the EOS community in a sense, running PR for the EOS community. So it was awesome to see him on. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're super stoked to have you. So we always forget whenever we're excited, and I almost forgot, and Corey's probably already forgot. But we want to do one more thing before we get going, because Corey does this thing at the beginning of the show where he asks people, what they're grateful for.
Yep. Hold on. I got to pull the thing up here. Oh, and I got to get into the server. Everything's broken. Anyway, Sean, you can start brainstorming it. Something small, small, not as in the amount of gratitude, but as in the number of words, because it has to fit on a tiny Minecraft sign, but something that you're grateful for.
Okay. Do we come back to this at the end?
I'm just loading it up right now.
Okay.
We should be able to do it right now.
Yeah, so what you saw in the intro, that's pretty much where it goes, and it gets
That's where we're gonna go.
Memorialized on there for all eternity.
Actually, you know what? I have to reboot Minecraft, so that's a good idea, Sean. Let's do it. Let's do it at the end. So yeah, let's just dive into it. I mean, EOS is doing, all right. I don't have to share this right now.
Boink. I would love to hear. I don't think I've ever heard this. So I was introduced to you a long time ago, and we had little brief chats. And I know Kenny from back in the day, and I also, used to write on the old EOS Writer site.
Right.
You guys ported over to voice. But I would just love to hear the co-founders kind of, start story. Where did you guys get started? How did you get started? Where did the idea come from? How did the expansion come about? All of that good stuff.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty cool story. So we got to go way back in the day, back in my high school days, right? I was deep down the electronic music rabbit hole, similar to how I'm now down the crypto rabbit hole. I graduated college 2008. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I joined the workforce writing for a luxury magazine and was like, wow, this sucks. And around the same time, I knew that wasn't really my future. So I launched an electronic music curation blog called thefreshbeat.com. And at the time, the music software had gotten to the point where any little teenager or whatever could sit in their bedroom and produce a track. There's some parallels to NFTs now, digital art. but we created the freshbeat.com, and it got a lot of traction, kind of blew up. And we built this community of house heads, whatever you want to call them. And what they did was, whenever we post tracks, they go out there, they share the tracks on their channels. A lot of them are DJs. They play the tracks in the club. And because of that, because of those effects, everyone wanted their track posted on the Fresh Beat, right? So we created this kind of like curation layer, and it had an 8-year run up until about 2015. So like 2008, 7 years to 2015, it was rocking and rolling. Around that time, I got married, I had kids, and that just wasn't my scene anymore, right? And right around 2000, maybe December 2015, or no, December 2014, I discovered crypto, and I fell down that rabbit hole. So that kind of took the place of the Fresh Beat, but I was always kind of disappointed in myself for not taking it to the next level. Okay, so here I am. I'm in crypto. I joined the EOS community. Those were the days where Dan was in Telegram, the main EOS group, and I was a total noob, like anyone when they enter the crypto space. But over time, you're absorbing all the information, and I learned about EOS. I got my confidence up, and I decided to write something for EOS Writer. I wrote something, I think it was on vote buying. I think like New Dex had started doing voter rewards, something like that. And I wrote a piece that was sort of maybe a little controversial, but it was well received. And people started reaching out to Kenny to see if they could commission me to write pieces for them. And that's how I met Kenny. And we started talking, and he was at a point with EOS Writer where he wanted to take it to the next step, but didn't necessarily know how. Like, how do we expand outside of EOS? And because I had been in a similar situation with the Fresh Beat, where I gotten it to about the same level and just kind of disappointed in myself for never taking that next step, I had some ideas, and we hit it off, and we started, for the next year, we started kind of charting our course and building this idea for Cryptowriter or Writer. At first, it was going to be kind of like a publishing platform. We wanted to kill Medium. It was designed to be a publishing platform. Because I had met Cheney, B1 June, we had become friends. I brought him on board. Raleigh Felton was our designer. We connected with a bunch of different people, and we grew this idea. And then we were about to have a funding round, and Corona happened, and we're like, okay, you're watching videos of people like convulsing and dropping dead in the streets, and you just don't, there's so much uncertainty. Is this a good time to have a funding round? We didn't know, and we could have kind of put things on hold, but then we were lucky enough to link up with Voice, and it was pretty serendipitous, and then the rest is history from there.
I like it. There's a lot of good names in there that I've actually been acquainted with myself. So by the way, Corey sometimes drops in and out. Apparently he's got internet problems. He'll be back sometime. So it's kind of good that you're here, because if you weren't, then it would be more problematic, because he's the one that let us in. But I like it. I think it's, so you guys basically, your whole operation right now is essentially on Voice, and it's, what I like about it is kind of bridges the gap between mainstream media and crypto writing, in a sense, as it should. But I really like the fact that you guys have got like writers you've collected writers, top-notch writers from all over the space. So now there's Bitcoin writer, there's Ethereum writer, there's Cardano, Polkadot, all of essentially the main chains. You got people writing from it. I even noticed today you guys started like an NFT writer, essentially.
Right. So our plan, when our initial plan was to have multiple separate communities, But at the time Voice launched, there just wasn't, first of all, we had to recruit writers, right? And we didn't have enough awesome writers to produce enough awesome content to support different communities. So we had one, or we still today have one singular Cryptowriter community, but the plan is to now, separate into multiple communities. So EOS Writer will be its own community. Bitcoin Writer, Ethereum Writer, Cryptowriter will be more like its own community, but it'll be more like content for the masses, right? And our idea is that we'll bring in eyes from Cryptowriter, and then they can go explore these other communities. NFT Writer, I'm probably most excited about, because back to my fresh beat days of curating electronic music, now that everyone, well, obviously a small percentage, but now people are waking up to the idea that they can go NFT their artwork and NFT everything for that matter. You have all this kind of low level noise NFT that's entering the space. And when you have that, you need, like, what's art, what's not art. Like, you need that curation level to elevate the good artists, to elevate the cool projects. So that's our intention for NFT Writer. We're going to be that curation layer, and I think NFT Writer, we want it to look and feel more like a high gloss magazine in a sense. We want to bring in artists, curators, writers, developers, all the drivers of the space, and let them put their best feet forward with content. So really excited to get that off the ground here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me, right? Like, it's funny because Corey and I were talking about this show and, moving into 5 days a week, and we just kind of thought, okay, well, let's do themed things, right? And right down to, the content, but also like the cover images that we produce and stuff like that. Like, let's try to stick to a theme. Not like that in the crypto space. I often find there's too many carbon cut copies of everything, right? And this is it's okay, I guess, but I like to see people with personality, right? Like, I like to see people writing with different personality. So I think the idea of having an NFT writer series whereby you can actually incorporate the dynamics that make NFTs in their own right so special, the art, the ability to see the images, change the backdrop a little bit, makes a lot more sense, right? It's kind of like different department stores have different ways of presenting essentially Nike or Reebok, right? And I think that's really important if you look at the crypto space, because we live in the YouTube, Twitter, Medium world, essentially, right? The only time most of us turn on the mainstream news is to counter trade it, essentially. But I think that after a while, it gets, you become numbed to clickbait titles, for example. Right. Number two, it's just a different face with the same post, every single writer, every single person out there. And I think what Cryptowriter did that was really interesting to me when they branched out and brought all of these different people in, is you guys did a really good job with the branding, but at the same time, you also did a really good job with the various writers and letting them be them and write.
Right. Yes. So we don't box our writers in. Like our mission is to connect and drive blockchain adoption, crypto adoption through our content. Well, when you go on Cointelegraph and CoinDesk and everything is surrounding speculation and price movement, okay, that definitely reaches an audience. People like that, but that's the audience that's already in the crypto sphere, or people that are just, worried about their investment. What we're trying to do is tell the story of why blockchain really matters, right? sure, price investment speculation is great, right? But blockchain has the power to lift societies. We've seen it with things like Steam It and kids in Africa, who are making a couple bucks a day. A couple bucks a day to us might not be much, but to them that can pay their way through university. There's all these things blockchain does that really matter, but no one's really talking about it. So we're trying to fill that gap too.
Sorry, I was on. I lost the mute there. Wrong window. I thought maybe I locked myself out. So yeah, I think, and like that's the other thing that you mentioned too, is like when you. I mean, I don't follow that many mainstream news things, but I do actually follow Cointelegraph, and I don't know if they're mainstream, but they're mainstream enough for us, right? And I mean, there seems to be a bias that a lot of these news sites have. And I think that's another good thing about you guys is like you're bringing in kind of experts or self-proclaimed experts in the field. I mean, if it's hard. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but like you said, anyone who says like, if somebody says, Bitcoin's going to make you $1 million, well, sure, depending upon how much you buy, right? And depending upon like how much the currency that you live in like inflates, right? I mean, and what you calculate it as, but like with a lot of these projects, there's a bias towards certain blockchains. And like, without getting into all the negative stuff behind it, one of the things that I think is really nice about the vast array of writers that you guys have writing on different topics is there seems to be more positive content there for certain blockchains and less like, fuddy stuff. Like, it's not hard in the EOS or in the Cardano or in the Ethereum even blockchain space to find people who like are crazy moon boys that like have no sense for like reality as well people who are just like massive fudders, right? The majority of people like to have a balanced view, right? And I think you guys do that really quite well. So
I have a question for you. When like I try to compare tribalism in 2016, 2017, and what that felt like, because I was definitely a part of it. I was going on Twitter and fighting with the .eths and fighting with the Cardano people, and you're just throwing punches. But then when I started Cryptowriter, I stepped back, right? Because you see all the plumbing being laid, all the different, blockchains are being connected in one way or another. And with Cryptowriter, we wanted to kind of connect these communities, let them have discussions and learn about each other. But because I've stepped back, I don't have a sense of if the tribalism is still there the same way it was back in 2016, 2017, or if we've sort of evolved as a cryptosphere.
Yeah, so I think that's tough, right? Like one of the reasons that we kind of rebranded, because we used to be EOSIO Weekly, is that we thought like it's good to try to cover other projects, like other topics as well, especially when it comes to days like this, Media Moguls Day, because there's a lot of people out there doing great content for crypto. And like you said earlier, I think like the advantage of bringing crypto to the world, sometimes, if you look at it from a tech perspective or from an understanding perspective of what value it can bring the rest of the world, then just chilling your bags or crapping on someone else's really doesn't get us anywhere, and it kills us, right? So I'm pretty entrenched in the EOS-IO space myself, Cheney, you're not a moon boy, but you can be, but I like your moonishness, because you also look at the dark side of the moon, and that's great. So I think that but like that's a good a little good segue there is like I'm a little bit different than maybe a lot of people in the space. Like I'm pretty pro EOSIO in general. Like I'm not one of these EOS chain maximalists. Like I see the value that Block One is bringing in updating the code, and I like price movements like we had today, but at the same time, I think like a long-term game strategy is so much better, right? So I think, when you look at it from inside the EOS space and you look at it from outside the EOS space, it's very different. But one of the, speculations that I have, there's no reason to FUD a project if it's dead. There's no reason to FUD a project if it's going to zero. There's no reason to like throw shots at it if it's like, on its way to oblivion, right? So it seems like, there's people in the space, rampant speculation on my part, that are trying to hold EOS back, right? And likewise, I think this is going to happen to all others. Like I was reading today about I think it's Matic and Polkadot, because apparently Binance has taken a liking to Polkadot, and they've thrown like a bunch of money behind Polkadot to be able to like boost the ecosystem, right? And now the Ethereum people are kind of starting to be like, oh, this isn't good, right? Because Polkadot's pretty much doing what EOS can already do, right?
Right.
And so now Matic's come out and they're like, okay, well, we're going to rebrand and we're going to we're going to scale. I think I have this right. We're going to scale Ethereum better than like Polkadot can do it. And so like, I think there just happens like you said, right? There's phases of markets, but there's also phases of adoption and phases of like adoration for certain projects, right? Like we've all been in that place where we're just like, loving where we are, or like doom and glooming somewhere else. Like, right. Like, yeah, Ethereum sucks. You got crappy tech, right? Well, 3 years later, what are the Ethereum people saying? Well, you got great tech, but you've got no business model or plan, right? So it's it goes back and forth. How was your walk in the park? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I was like, you guys are boring. I'm fucking out of here. No, my whole computer died. It's like, hey, you used me too much, and so it fell over and died, and there was no internet. It was very sad, and so I'm back now. So hello.
Well,
it's a good job that there's a future shop next door, and you can just run over there and buy a new one.
Yeah. That's what she said. Nope, doesn't work. Anyway, how are you guys doing? What did I miss?
We're good. We're really good. We're pretty much finished, actually. So yeah.
Well,
no, we're good. We were just getting down and dirty into the whole kind of tribalistic nature of cryptocurrencies, and
I was asking Jimmy if he. Back in 2016-17, I used to be a part of the tribalism, right? Like throwing bows with the Dotties and getting into it, mixing it up with the Cardano people. But since Cryptowriter, I've kind of stepped outside the tribe. And I was asking Jimmy, and same question for you, Corey, if you feel any of the tribalism has evolved where people are more willing to consider other ideas, or if you feel it's as strong as ever.
I mean, so for me, as long as we all hate Ripple, I'm good. It's mostly a joke. Because I know, like M Blue is. I think he's got a big old Ripple stash, and won't do the historical analysis of the pump and dump of them dropping 100 or what, $1 billion a month on the market to their friends, right? Like, just it's XRP should be shot in the face by the SEC. They should do it, right? Like anyway. So, but other than that, I'm chain agnostic. I want to see mass adoption. Like the reasons why. I mean, obviously, like number go up, woohoo! Like that's the idea that my little wax stash could moon like a motherfucker is awesome.
Yeah.
And like that price is part of it, and that's just great. And the whiz bang tech and yada yada yada. Like, so after that, all the things that it allows us to do is the point. And if something comes out that's better than EOS, like I have no sort of tribal adherence to the technology, but I do have a lot of community, right? So I'm building specifically with projects that are all on this chain. They're all like, so it gets enmeshed in that way, right? So like Polkadot comes and says, oh, we could do all this stuff for for Uplift World, and it'll be like 10 times faster than Wax. Like, yeah, well, tell that to like the 100,000 people that are connected to the 100 projects. You know what I mean? Like that. So I don't see that as tribalism, but I see that as we're going down a path. We're going down as communities, and the direction that we move in as a gestalt as a whole has an effect, right? It's going to have a stickiness to it, like a network effect.
It's interesting because we're trying to plot out, like with Cryptowriter, what are the communities we're looking to open next, right? And I'll go into these different Telegram groups, Chainlink, whatever, and I'll reach out and ask, like, I'm looking for Chainlink content creators that can come share what's going on. And it's interesting because certain communities have these tight-knit they're these tight-knit communities, like ecosystem communities like EOS and Ethereum. There's just so much going on. But then you go to these other communities and it's all based on speculation, on price speculation, on pumping the price. And it's really hard in certain communities to find content creators because outside of price, what are they going to write about, right?
Right.
And this is an issue we're kind of been running into. And I mean, Cardano, say what you want, but they have a very tight community and they have all these ideas. Now they haven't launched smart contracts yet, and it's been 5 years, but there's definitely content creators in the Cardano community. Whereas Chainlink, you go in there and people respond and they're like, can I write about anything outside of Chainlink too? Like it's kind of like a side community in a sense.
Yes,
it's funny that you said that because I was thinking this earlier. Like I was on Twitter and I was trying to do some stuff on Twitter, but I can't do anything on Twitter right now because everyone's just talking about price. Nobody's writing about anything, and that's what happens in the moon, right? Like everyone's just like either ecstatic that they're making bank, which the majority of people probably, if the price crashes, won't make bank. They'll just ride it all the way down like they ride it all the way up. That's what seems to happen in crypto. Or they're pissed off because somebody else is making bank because they, didn't buy that coin or they bought something else instead. It's like, it cracks me up how angry people get about, buying EOS with BTC or Ethereum. Like this just drives me crazy. It's like Block One, you suck. I want my BTC back. Like, give me my BTC back. Give me my Bitcoin back because you're making money and I'm not. And it's like, come on, dude. But now we just pumped what'd you say? Like 50 cents. Nobody's complaining on Twitter. Just
remember 2 weeks ago, Jimmy. Do you remember what I said 2 weeks ago?
Right.
All the fun. I said the second that it breaks over 5 cents for Wax and over about $4 for all, that's gonna just be gone.
But here's the problem. Here's the issue. Okay. So, and I wrote about this last week, this soon piece, where I talked about Block One. So no one's complaining now because the people that are left are these are the diehard EOS holders. Like they deserve it. The thing is, so B1, like when I got into EOS, you could feel a unified community. The community felt like they were a part of the vision, right? You had Dan and Brendan popping their head in Telegram every night and going back and forth with the people of the community, right? That felt good. And then suddenly there was this boom, for whatever reason, regulators, SEC, they're off Telegram. And the community's there and we're still happy and we're still developing and things are going great. But then you have developers and BPs are kind of running out of money. And where do they turn to raise money? Is B1 there? Not really. EOS VC, right, had this money to invest in the EOSIO ecosystem. But EOS VC was never a part of this community. They weren't in the community. They didn't know what the community needed. They were out here, right? So I think in order to throw us a bone, they launched the EOS VC grants, right? And EOS Writer received a grant, and full disclosure. And that was awesome for us because that helped us take the next step. But in the process, they said, oh, these if you're a BP, you can't get a grant, right? So you have all these BPs that are down here in the rankings that are building tools that need help. They couldn't get a lifeline. And then from there, you know, there are 34 grants, awesome, but you know, some of these grants, the projects you haven't, like, where are they now? You don't even know who these people are, again, because the people issuing the grants are not in the community. They're out here. And then you get the announcement of the public blockchain engagement division, the PBE, and that's awesome because you think you finally have this liaison between the community and Block One, someone who, you know, the guys from EOS New York who have seen what it's like from this side are now in between, right? And you think that's going to lead to unifying the community, but they won't. You know, they're tight-lipped. They're as tight-lipped as B1. So my feeling is, if you want a community to feel unified, like, if you have to make them a part of the vision, you have to have that open communication and that open discussion, and sharing of ideas. And you know, I know Block One has big plans and they're doing things their own way, but I really think that open discussion that used to be there when I first got into EOS is now missing.
Yeah, so I agree, like 99.9% of that, and like, I'll echo what Cheney said in the comments. Right, Block One went off radar. They stopped talking to the community, and he's been quite vocal about it. I know some of your other writers have been quite vocal about it. I myself have been quite vocal about it whenever I can, because I think that's the problem, right? And maybe, like, I'm speculating that maybe when they got slapped with that SEC fine, that they probably had to uphold some, you know, terms of engagement for future, you know, things. But I'm guessing that in those terms of communication wasn't the fact that you can't say, no, we're not allowed to communicate with you anymore because that's what the SEC said. So like it's okay if they can't, you know, pump the price or they can't do certain things, but at the very least, they should be explaining why they can't do these things, right? Like, right. It seems a little bit that's the one that, like, you know,
if they in explaining it, when they start getting questions, it could end up being that, because again, like any communication from a company like that towards the value of the asset that they created is immediately culpable under the SEC, because it's a stock now, right? It's not a blockchain asset. So it from a legal perspective, they got a tiny $25 million fine. They raised $4 billion, right? If their legal team told them, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they did, that there's like a 0.1% chance that if you say anything about this at all, it's going to cost you $2 billion. You're not going to fucking say anything. And honestly, like, I don't just like think a little bit that that's the way it is. I'm like fairly certain that's the way it is. I'd be really surprised if it wasn't that way.
Is there, do you feel though that there's a way to still engage with the community? Maybe not on that level, but continue to have open discussion and engage with the community without upsetting that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, like the VC fund, you know, like that basically, and I think I have a suspicion that they basically, you know, got very close-lipped about it, and then that just becomes its own pattern, right? And again, I'm going into rampant speculation now, but the VC fund speaks volumes, right? Buying up a bunch of Bitcoin and starting to talk about doing, you know, Pro-Fi that'll be all on EOS.io, and you know, EOS becomes a portal at the very least, even if it's not built on mainnet, it becomes a primary capital portal for it. You know, that is pretty loud to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's even like going back to what you were saying, Sean. That's another weird thing that I never thought about, because until I heard them both out loud. Like, it's okay for Block One to say, yeah, we have probably, well, I guess they don't say it, but everyone knows they have 240. What is it? I always screw this up.
230,000.
Yeah, it's like I know it's 200, over 200,000.
I think the last number I heard was 230,000.
Yeah. So it's okay for them to kind of say that we have this, and we're gonna put it on. I guess they don't really say they're gonna put it on. They're gonna put it on EOS with Pro-Fi, but I mean, yeah, if I don't know. Like, so yeah, I guess like it's okay to say that they're gonna build Profi. Like, is Profi
That's
connected?
that's the thing. If it's a different chain, and
Yeah.
the last I heard was that it would be. So that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Like I've been yelling about their lack of communication on this show since we started, but I kind of want to give them at least leave the door open for the benefit of the doubt, because like all the fun got so bad that I was like, now this is just go look at the Wall Street cheat sheet. Like you guys are just playing a show at this point on the internet where you're like, this is capitulation, okay, and here's depression, awesome, and I'm just like hitting the buy button because I've seen this a million times. Like, are large businesses still active on this chain? Yes. Are more considering coming in? Yes. Does it work better still than most of the other chains out there? 100%, right? Are the fees not $1 million every transaction like Ethereum? Yep. So like on all the fundamentals, if you get past the block one does this or block one doesn't do that, erase block one from our memory completely, and EOS is still worth buying.
You have this, so you have this whole EOS community, or those remaining, right? And they're smart people, and they're obviously pretty passionate because they're still here.
Yeah.
I was hoping with the introduction of the PBE that the PBE would act as like a community manager of sort, right? Like
Sorry, what's the PBE for those people that don't know, which is me?
The Public Blockchain Engagement Division, which was the former EOS New York team, EOS New York, Kevin Rose, Rick.
Right. Okay.
They were announced, I don't know, almost a year ago. They came out and they voted, right? Block one started voting. So that was part of their doing. They threw out the idea of an EOS Foundation like 10 months ago. We haven't heard anything since. Basically, when you ask questions to the PBE, who is, I give him credit, like Kevin's active in Telegram, but it's just stonewalling. Like you're not going to get anything out of him, And when I look around the crypto sphere and you see all these projects popping up, and what do these projects have on their Discord or their Telegram? They have a community manager or community managers that just keep the conversation going and direct the conversation. And regardless of if anything comes out of that conversation, what it does, it keeps the community unified. It gives the community a direction, right? And I think that's what EOS is lacking. But I think that with like the bullish Telegram group, and maybe we can talk about the meme competition that's about to launch. But I think that the community finally said, you know what, we're not going to get any help, and we're just going to take it upon ourselves, and we're going to start marketing EOS, right? Like,
go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, so that to me is refreshing to see that this EOS bullish Telegram group, and I hope you can link it somewhere, has gone from like 500 people like a couple weeks ago. Now it's almost up to 1,000. Okay, obviously EOS pumping like yesterday, like people were coming in, like 10 at a time. But you see the shift in sentiment where people are just going to be, you know what, if no one's going to help us, we're going to do it. We're going to create excitement. We're going to build marketing. So that's refreshing to see.
Yeah, so number one on the screen, BTC on EOS. If that's what they're saying, then I don't get it. I don't get how you can say BTC on EOS, but you can't say, well, we're not allowed to do this because the SEC is going to slap us in the ass. Number one.
Well, he's saying, no, that doesn't mean they're doing it. Like PB, like other companies could do it.
No, would they have 200,000 Bitcoin?
They have XYZ Bitcoin. If that quote, and I'm just taking it in the context that it's delivered in. If he says he's bullish about Bitcoin, hold on. If he says he's bullish about Bitcoin on EOS, then that's all he's saying. He's not saying we're going to do it. they should. Don't get me wrong, they totally fucking should, right?
Well,
but that, like, again, I'm just trying to make the SEC like that defense argument.
I'm
So
just
we
trying
don't
to make us.
necessarily, like-
I'm just trying to make us money here, because if anyone from Bach One's listening and they need someone to custody that 240,000 BTC,
dude, why do you think I'm sucking so much dick on air? Like this is what we're doing right now. Totally, that's a joke. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I was wondering if I was saying that out loud as I was saying it, and then I did. What were we talking about?
Second point, I understand, like, as a writer myself, you know, and a little bit, you know, frustrating. It can be frustrating, right? Like, you guys are one of the original kind of, you know, professional. I would put you in the professional category, you know, like beyond bloggers, you've got some really good writers on your team, even from back in the old days. Some of the names I can't even pronounce. But yeah, some really, like, you know who I'm talking about, by the way. Yeah, I think that's probably the most frustrating thing, is like popping into a Telegram channel and not being able to get a straight answer, right? Like, you want to give the fair coverage of the topics at hand, of the issues at hand. And like you said, you're just being essentially white-walled everywhere you go, right? Like, and I think I was having a conversation with Luke Stokes, I think, or maybe he posted this on Twitter. I can't remember. I get confused. He was saying, you know, like, I'm a little bit sad because, like, some of my friends that I used to talk to, you know, back in the day, like Kevin Rose, or I think Ash as well. Ash Oro, didn't he move to Block One as well? Yeah. Like, these people, like, I can't even have conversations with them anymore because they're under NDAs and they can't even talk to me anymore. Like, he's like, yeah. Sometimes Block One sucks, but I miss my friends. Like, right. It's like they put up a glass wall, you know, around the central city or whatever. Block One, I mean, it's a Corey, it's a light in a box. That's what Block One is.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I just wanted everyone to see and read a couple times that JD Moore says that I was right. Just want to read that off a couple times. They never said directly that they would put their Bitcoin on EOS. So, I am firmly in the camp that they effing should. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be. I don't know. I just. I hope they do, but yeah, I forget the third and fourth point that I had, but it's okay. We diverged into something that was way more interesting, I think. So, you got a cool cup there. What is that?
Oh, okay. Let's see if you can see this. B1 June 2019. This was etched by former EOS community member Bonds Manifest. This was probably peak EOS. I don't know if either you got the opportunity to go to B1 June, but it was awesome. And I'd say that's when the community, you know, that Bloomer presented it this is our gift to the EOS community, B1 June. And, you know, not to throw any shade, but we heard voice account, everyone, you know, free EOS accounts for voice users, all these things. And some of the things didn't pan out, but I have awesome memories of, you know, but what will we do without Telegram? Like, Cryptowriter was created through various Telegram channels. A lot of development within these crypto communities happens through Telegram. But what was cool about B1 June is, you know, we had this core Telegram group. There were like 20 of us. We became really good friends. I probably spent more time talking to these guys than I did my wife, and credit to my wife for allowing me to, like, you know, head down in my phone every minute. I know some people even, you know, I've talked to people where you know, when the price is pumping, they go to their toilet to take a shit just so they can get on Telegram and not get any shit on the weekends. But
it was definitely going in the meme contest.
Yeah, it was really cool because you know, after spending a year or whatever making friends on Telegram and having that core group, I finally got to meet some of them at B1 June. You get to, you know, talk to people face to face. So that was awesome. And this is a commemorative beer mug.
Yeah, we love bonds. We're actually we've recruited bonds onto our
bonds too.
prospectors onto our Uplift prospectors team for their Boomtown. And it's funny because like I think when I think it was Bonds who introduced me to you. Who told me to reach out to you like quite some time ago now. When we first started talking, and then I reached out to you, and like I remember, like you were just like, yeah, Bonds is like he was like the life of the party at that event.
Yeah.
Hey, why are we calling him a former EOS community member? That's not very nice.
We'll get to that. So
by the way, I'm really glad that you were here for that.
When I'll get to that in a second, but
you should. You're on blast now, motherfucker. Come on.
So I get to be one. I get to be one June, and remember, you've talked to these people on Telegram. I recognize Bonds because he was everywhere, and I remember I like he knew me through Telegram, but we never met in person. And I get there, and I walk up, and I put my arm around Bonds, and I have my phone. I'm like, "Hey, man, can I take a selfie with you?" And he looked at me kind of weird. He didn't know that I was Sean, the guy he was talking to in the Telegram. And he was like, "Sure." And we took a selfie. And Bonds has this table with like chestahedrons, the glass, and Frank Chester, the inventor of the chestahedron, was there with him. But Bonds was the most popular guy. He was famous at B1 June. Everywhere he went, people were like, "Hey, Bonds, there's a Chester guy." I had to humble him. At one point, I had to humble him, and there's actually an animated GIF of Bonds saying, "I am nothing," and maybe we could share that somewhere. But Bonds has since, right? Remember, EOS made this guy famous. EOS created Peak Bonds, but now Bonds is out there paying $180 fees trading ETH DeFi. So it's like,
oh, dude, I didn't realize that was going to be a 10-minute setup for some Ultra Shade.
Yeah, he's dropping crazy fees on ETH DeFi. He kind of goes in like different Telegram groups, and he gives you the have fun staying poor. So I don't know if we've lost him. You know, I think dude, like he's right on the brink, and we need a so hey, everyone out there, if you come across Bonds, like
give him a hug.
Yeah, give him a hug.
Like he's gonna need some ice for the bruises you just freaking raised. Damn, Daniel. Wow.
That's good.
It was like Sean starts to think, "Oh, I'm not really into the tribalism anymore," and then it's like, no.
Yeah, but like
Ethereum sucks. Like
you said, like Luke Stokes and people, they've lost friends to B1. Like I don't want to. Bonds is a friend. I don't want to lose him to ETH DeFi. Like I don't want to lose him to that speculation circle jerk. Like, you know, it's the bubble's gonna pop at some point, and hopefully he's not too far gone. But if you see Bonds, give him a hug, tell him you love him, pull him back.
I mean, dude, I'm doing wax DeFi with Ethereum, and I'm feeling the pain. Like, so I'm like, we're gonna have to. Bonds and I are starting a support group, basically. Like, if you're not an EOS purist enough, they're gonna spank you, and then start talking about how tribalism isn't really a problem anymore.
If you go to EOS Art or whatever his Telegram group is, and you use the code Media Moguls, he will give you half off a chestahedron in the next 48 hours. You heard it here first.
This is like, I've been in Bonds for quite a while. He's got me out on a few articles that I've wrote. We were custodians on the Vigor DAC together for a while. I guess we still are in a way. So we've had lots of conversations. And you know, my thing is like, you know, I don't have anything against Ethereum, but like. You know, Ethereum it's like the banks, I think, in the new world, right? Like it's great if you have money. It's great to be able to go on there and make money. So Bonds, I had no idea that you had that much money. You're holding out on me. If you're over there in Ethereum, killing it on the DeFi network,
he's killing it.
I'm not gonna begrudge anyone for making money. You're right though. Like it is like a giant game of chicken as far as like the DeFi stuff that's going on over there, as far as like I think you call it a speculative circle jerk appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, on my feeling, there he is. He's dying. You know, my feeling. So when I got into crypto, I had a guy who could get you in on the ICOs. It was during ICO insanity.
Yep.
And you could, if you had a guy and he would pool all this Ethereum, and I'd throw an Ethereum at this, and then the ICO would go live, and you know, you'd flip it for 3, 5x, whatever, and then you just keep rinse repeating. I think when you have this you know, speculation circle jerk, I see a lot of parallels between DeFi, Ethereum DeFi now, and the ICO craze back in the day. You have all these people that they're trading, they're lending, they're borrowing, they're transferring tokens, and it's great for development. Like something good things will come out of this. It's also great for token price, right? But when it unravels, for whatever reason that is, whether the SEC decides to target a certain project, or, you know, there's still these attack vectors, API endpoints and Fura, where I think they could issue a cease and desist, and DeFi would still work, but it wouldn't work in the same capacity. But I think when it unravels, it's going to unravel fairly quickly. Like, it is a bubble. But people are capitalizing, and, you know, in full disclosure, I've taken a chance on a couple moonshots. We'll see how it goes. So you can't knock anyone, you know, who was all in EOS or all in EOS projects and sat through the last 2 years, and then Ethereum DeFi pops up and you know, they seize the opportunity. You can't knock someone for that. But just word of caution, the bubble's going to pop one day, and you don't want to get caught with your pants down. So,
Corey, I like this guy, but he's really cool. But I think we're gonna have Bonds on again soon to like dig into his shadows.
Yeah. I mean, like we have like a strict no shade throwing rule. Not strict, but like no for me and Jimmy. But that I like conflict sells, and like we're missing that market. So if you and Bonds want to have a little flame war, we would be glad to host. But you're funny.
It's fun. We're all friends here, and it's good. But just to you know, kind of go back to what you were saying before and connect it to what you're saying now. It's interesting, right? Because I wonder. I'm a little bit secluded as well. Like, I do play around in other blockchains a little bit, but like most of the time I get my information either from you guys or from, you know, Cointelegraph or some of these media sources. Like, I don't go and play around in the DeFi Ethereum, you know, Telegram channels or so, but I always wonder, right? Like, I wonder if there's people that are just as pissed off with, like, I don't know, Snov or Electronium or all of these, you know, kind of ICO mania Ethereum projects that they gave all this Ethereum to, and now they're watching Ethereum moon to like almost $2,000, and they're like, "Give me my money!" Like, but it like to go back to what Cheney said. I don't know if he said it on the show or if we talked about it on the show, or if he said it after, because he puts out so many posts. But he had a really good point, right? Like, most of these people who invested there, who got ICO money in the form of ETH, right? They just used it to be able to, you know, prop up their own token prices, right? And Block One has essentially built this. Block One has done what, like, you know, smart business people do. They invested in assets that were solid, right? So if they can scale these DeFi projects, because I think you're right, you know, and Cheney as well said last week that, like, if you think someone like Tesla is going to trust DeFi on Ethereum, like, you're absolutely crazy. Like, right. So I think, like you said, speculators will be speculators, and traders will be traders. But at the end of the day, we're what, maybe 2%, maybe 1% of the population is in crypto now. And allegiances aside, when the mainstream onboards into crypto, they're not going to be choosing, the one that has the flashiest moon voice. They're going to be choosing the one that's like the most operational and things like that, right? So I think like when you guys hit it big, you're already kind of big, but like when crypto hits it big and when you guys hit it big, that's where you're going to see the game change in people who are writing for you, like your content, right? Like I think there'll be less bias and stuff like that. I'm not really sure where that started, but that's kind of where it is.
I sort of side with, I see Block One, EOS from two different sides. Like I understand the community perspective, and I also give Block One the benefit of the doubt, like Corey. I'm a believer in Bloomer. Why? Because he's like 34 years old or something like that. He's my age, and I've seen pictures. Zach Gall was sharing pictures of him with Vitalik back in like 2014, something like that. But basically, he recruited Laramir and got some investors, and they launched Block One, and he timed the token sale, the year-long token sale, perfectly, right, with the bull market. Okay. And then with that $4 billion, he put some of it into cash and bought a bunch of Bitcoin. Then he goes to Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, buys voice.com for $30 million, which people are like, why would you spend that much money on a domain name? But in the process, turns Michael Saylor onto Bitcoin, right? Who then goes out and pumps his own bags and Bloomer's bag. So then you're turning this 4 billion into like 10 billion. I think Bloomer is the puppet master. Okay. And because of that, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that he doesn't like a lot of these other crypto communities, crypto tokens, projects, it's all just speculation. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to do that, where Bloomer doesn't talk about it much, and it's going to take a lot of time. They're playing the long game, but whatever he's betting on, I'm going to bet on too. Okay. And you got to have patience. You got to stay the course. It sucks because you don't see all this action, all this, like in other projects, you don't have Justin Sun, pumping, saying this, announcements of announcements. But I hope that as we see these interconnected pieces kind of come together, it's going to be something big, something world changing. Whereas these other projects are just kind of, it's what you get is what you see on the surface. They don't really mean anything, but I guess time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, right? And yeah, Broski being disappointed is also a strong passion for EOS, not necessarily price. I'm super bullish again, and that's kind of the way I feel about crypto personally. It's funny because I was looking at my portfolio today, and I don't always do that, but I was checking out something on my portfolio today, and like today was a pretty good day. I was a decent percent of gains. Like I'm no whale, I'm not nothing, right? But when EOS pumps, we're all a little bit happy because we've been sitting, like you said, for 2 years, right? But I also worked my normal job today. And, I told my wife, I said, I was a good day. Like I made a little bit of money today. Right. And like, and my wife was like more excited about the 10% that I made from my real job than my portfolio. She's like, this is money. Like, I don't know it. I'm like, it's because you can't spend it. And it's like, it's like
yeah, exactly. No, that
I feel the same way about all the wax I have staked. It's like, is it even real?
The best decision I ever made is to try to disassociate from the price. Like I stopped I'm like, Sean, you're not a trader. Like, you suck. Like, right. Everyone's awesome in a bull market. Everyone's a genius, but the bear market humbled me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to put some money in what I believe in, and maybe on occasion try to seize an opportunity. But I separated myself from that, and I became a much happier person, like not checking. In 2016, 17, 18, I was like checking the Blockfolio every 10 minutes of every day, waking up in the night in sweats, checking. And the bear market humbled me, and I was like, enough of that. And I stopped doing that. And, crypto, if crypto's making you miserable, like making you angry, like take a break. It should be fun. I mean, more than anything, crypto makes me feel like we're sort of like living in a simulation. You're moving these tokens around. You don't even know what's going on in the background. They're just there, and you're doing all this shit. And if it's not fun, like you shouldn't be here. It should always be fun, right? We're at the cutting edge, early adopters of a new tech. Like focus your energy into building stuff, into making podcasts. Don't put all your energy into like feeling miserable because whatever shit token you had dropped 20% yesterday. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and I always say very similar sentiments, right? Like, don't stop getting angry because somebody else isn't making you rich. Like, I don't actually do that well. Like, when I look around at other people like in crypto, and they're all like, oh, we're going to the moon, we're buying Lambos. Like, I don't make that much in a bull market. Like, I'm probably on the comparatively low scale, and I like that because it means I don't lose quite so much in a bear market. That's the problem.
Right, man. If props to everyone who survived who's been through a cycle, right? I remember Ash Oro, actually, when I first got into crypto, and we first went into the bear market, and this was before he was working for B1, and he said, like, I've been through a cycle already, or I've been through a couple cycles, so I know it'll come back. You just gotta stay the course, and he's right. And now that I've been through a cycle from 2015 when I got in to now, like you look around, you see other people. This is their first time. They're selling their kidneys to get into crypto. They're selling their wife to get into crypto. And man, they're gonna feel some pain in a couple years.
I know, man, and it sucks. And they're gonna, and their kids, like, they can't walk anymore.
Yeah.
They're in wheelchairs because they're selling their kids' knees. Like, that sucks.
But I think too, like with Cryptowriter, we have writers who have a lot of experience and have been through cycles, and we'll try to maybe have them write some pieces on that, what it's going to be like, because a lot of people, we all make mistakes, right? But you learn lessons the hard way in crypto. And I think I can teach other people, or we can teach other people not to make those same mistakes. Now they're still going to make mistakes because people get greedy and emotional and stuff like that. But I do think those experience can help other people and kind of guide them. Like, I have people guiding me. It's definitely helpful.
Sounds good to me. Excuse me.
The silence works. Yeah.
So,
I like it. I'm never sure if you have a hard stop around this time or not, Corey. So I'm always.
I don't.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, though, because like these conversations get so fun that I basically just blow straight through them anyway because I suck.
So I wanna say something that isn't an ending to the conversation, because I'd love to hear at least one more thing from you, Sean. But before I forget, I'd love to have you back, or I'm sure Corey would as well, like in the future. But I'm also wondering, like, at some point when you come back, if you might even highlight some of your best writers from the various communities. I think that would be cool. The second thing is, like you said, it's you got to remember the fun and stuff like that. And it looks like Corey's going to put the gratitude up on the wall. So that's great. But after the gratitude up on the wall, you were telling us a little bit before the show about the meme contest. So I'd really like to hear about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, maybe give your gratitude out, and then we'll we'll get the rundown of the meme contest, because that's one of the things that like is 100% crypto, right? Like people come in and do some crazy shit with NFTs and memes, and like it's pretty fun, you know. So
I know what I'm grateful for, but I'm grateful. Do they all have to start I'm grateful, or can I put I love?
Fuck. You know what? You do whatever the hell you want. No, like it's about gratitude, but like love is also pretty good.
This is I love bonds. I love bonds.
Done. For sure, done. I love bonds.
Please stay. Perfect.
Yeah, no, that's well worth it.
So
nice.
the
and scene.
So the meme, yeah, Cian. The meme. So you're gonna get the official announcement on Friday, but all I can say is there's going to be a massive EOS meme competition, and prize pool when it's all said and done might rival that of the Block One Google hackathon.
Wow.
Well, what?
Yeah, so that's they're giving like, and so let me get this straight, because the Google hackathon, isn't it like $25,000 US or something?
Okay, man. Yeah. I'm exaggerating a little, but it's the prize pool is off to it's off to an awesome start, and a surprisingly awesome start. And you'll find out the details Friday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think, you know, like I said, you got this community that's now the core group that's stayed here, the OGs, and they're now taking it upon themselves to market EOS. And, you know, memes can be powerful. And when you got all these EOS memes shooting out on Twitter, everyone's retweeting and liking, like, people are going to see it. So we hope everyone participates. You'll find out the details Friday. Prize pool is awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So this is where we always put out a weekly roundup post where we, you know, link the videos and all.
Cheney, plus or minus 95% of the Google hackathon.
and so,
hey, Bonds, I got you, man.
But yeah, where's this going to happen? And maybe you can send me the info later too, and we'll put it in that post as well. But
when do you do your weekly? When do you push it out?
Yeah. So where do people need to tune into to get the information on Friday? Where is the meme contest itself happening?
So because like everything EOS has the largest Twitter following, it's all going to happen through Twitter.
Okay.
And basically like everything EOS writer, like they're just going to start, we're going to pump out the details. But I'll send you guys something beforehand. So maybe we can time it. Just get the word out there. But it's all taking place. It's all taking place on Twitter. We're also going to publish something on Voice. You know, we're just going to leverage the entire community to get the word out there.
Great. Yeah, that's really that's sounds.
Can I make one request of your team?
Sure.
Make sure you tag Jimmy and I, and we probably like hop in the Telegram and stuff. Just get us the good memes. Get us the good memes.
Okay.
We'll show them off. And you know, if we see any memes that we just simply cannot ignore, then we accidentally have to promote the thing every show.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 days a week. Oops.
Let me see.
And actually, likewise for your team as well, for your EOS writer team in particular, we put together the EOSI weekly update post on Medium, where we reference a lot of great articles throughout the week, and some videos and some Twitter sentiment and stuff like that. And I know, like, you know, I pulled 2 or 3 EOS writer articles from the EOS Voice
Yeah.
accounts today, but sometimes I miss them. So if you guys are writing, good EOS content, tag us and we'll have a read.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll throw them into our weekly updates as well. Like, because I mean that article that you wrote, you referenced earlier, we put it in our EOS.io weekly update last week, but it was a great article and it dealt with basically where we are now as a community and things like this. There were 2 or 3 great ones that we're going to push out this week. There was one, it was an interview with Jonah of Atomic Assets, who, we love Jonah and Atomic Assets and everything.
Mark Bailey, yeah.
And so these are really useful for the community. So feel free, like Corey said, to tag us with your memes or tag us with your articles, and we're happy to throw them in and get them out to the community. Because unfortunately, not everyone is on Voice, and we want the people who aren't on Voice to still at least be able to read them, right?
Yeah. Hashtag EOS meme will be the hashtag where all the memes will be going to. So if you follow that, you'll get your pick of the bunch, whatever you guys think are the good ones. Retweet them, get them out.
I like it. So one thing I want to add, I set up the first auction. Lisa Chandler gave us a bunch from her new Crownlandia Star Charts NFT line. So we did an auction with just a few of them, and those auctions, we're going to do them basically anytime anybody sends us a big pile of NFTs, or if a group of people send us a big pile of NFTs from a particular project, like it stands out, like holy crap, we have so many of these things. We're going to take a few of them and auction them off, and all of the proceeds to that auction are going to the Uplift Donate account. Awesome. Which is our mission this year to build a school in Haiti, because
Yeah, man, I know M Blues the Mang. We love them.
Yep. Speaking of which, the Tiamo drop is happening. Make sure that you guys track that for this weekend. I just created a 1 of 1 for it, and it actually turned out pretty good.
Yeah,
and we'll actually have M Blue on the show on Friday as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, and by all means, everyone, please send Bonds some wax, maybe some Band-Aid NFTs.
Get him back. Get him back. We want him back. He's on the brink. He's
watch. He's making all this. He's making all this money, and he's going to drop it into Ethereum, and then mint like 100,000 Ethereum on EOS, and then you're going to be like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry." I don't know why that accent came out. That's a little weird. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Jimmy.
Yeah, guys, it's a lot of fun.
Do the thing.
Yeah, we can do the thing.
All right, do the thing.
All right. Yeah, please come back again sometime soon, and we'll see all of you on the flip side.